Most people want to be a high performer, but they still live their lives like everybody else. They wake up reactive, they say yes to everyone, they numb their stress by scrolling on their phone. And I want you to understand that high performers aren't smarter. They're not born different than everybody else. They just refuse to think and act like the average person, even when it's hard. And so in this episode, I'm going to show you exactly how to rewire your mindset and your life to actually think and act like a high performer. And so this episode is going to give you the exact mental blueprints that high performers use to separate themselves from everybody else that's out there. So if you feel like you've been stuck in average or spinning your wheels or self-sabotaging, this is for you. So let's talk about, first off, why would you want to develop a mindset of a high performer? Like, why does this even matter in the first place? Well, let's be honest. Like, most people in this world, if you look at most people in this world, they're just kind of surviving. Like, they live in reaction mode. They say things like, oh, I'm too busy, but don't know what they're actually really working towards. They chase dopamine and they don't go for discipline. And so if you're listening to this episode, you want to be different than everybody else. I want you to understand, you don't want to fit in with everybody else, because fitting in with everybody else is going to give you a mediocre life. High performers, though, they have a totally different operating system. They live their lives with intention. They're not reactive, they're proactive. They design their days, they chase mastering themselves, and they don't try to be comfortable. And the part that most people miss is that the mindset of a high performer, it's not going to just change your results in certain aspects of your life. It's going to change your entire experience of life, like every single thing, from obviously your body to your bank account, but also your relationships, the people that you attract into your life. Every aspect of your life will be changed. And when you become a high performer, you start to move with purpose. You learn to actually start to trust yourself because you have become the type of person that follows through. Like, you don't have to go into Monday every single week already overwhelmed. You don't have to have external motivation, because when you become somebody who is a high performer, you've got this internal drive that nothing is going to stop you. You stop playing this comparison game with other people and comparing yourself to this person and that person, because you already know who you are. You're already confident in yourself. You take action, you do what needs to be done, and you get the results that create the life that you've always wanted. And so that's what we're after. That's the reason why you want to develop the mindset of a high performer. And the beautiful part is, no matter where you are in your life, it's available to every single person. Hey, to the 65.6% of you who watch my videos but are not subscribed, yes, we see it. And if you've ever learned anything from any of the videos I've put out, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and it helps me keep making more content to help you grow as well. So with that, let's go back to the show. So even if you feel like you're behind and you haven't been, creating the life that you want to for 30 years, you can make a change and start to actually build yourself into a high performer. And so when you look at a high performer, what's the difference between a high performer and just a normal person? Like, lots of people think that they're high performers because they're a little bit more successful and they're work out 3 times a week. But when you zoom in and take a look at their daily actions, there's a huge difference between a real high performer and just a normal person. Like, the normal mindset, people say stuff like, oh, I'll try. A high performer mindset is like, I'm going to figure it out no matter what. A normal mindset, those types of people will be like, oh, I'll wait till I feel ready, or, I'm going to wait for inspiration to come through. A high performer will act in the face of fear, will act in the face of their limiting beliefs, will take action regardless of how they feel. A normal mindset is just like, they want change, they want a better life, but they don't want to do anything in order to create that life. A high performance mindset, they just decide they will not give up until change that they want in their life has happened. Normal mindset, they might sit down and they might write down goals and kind of be like, oh, it'd be really nice to achieve this goal this year. But like a high performance mindset, they develop systems in their life to make taking action easier. And then a normal person, normal mindset will blame their circumstances. But a high performance mindset owns everything. They blame everything on themselves. So high performers don't make decisions based off of comfort. They make them off of commitment. I said I was going to do this. I'm going to get it done. They don't negotiate with their mind. They don't negotiate with their goals. They don't negotiate with their feelings. They execute day in, day out, no matter what. And so let's talk about how you can actually adopt the mindset of a high performer, okay? And so the first thing, like if you think about it, that you really have to do is you have to develop radical ownership over everything in your life. No more like victim mindset, no more blaming other people, no more, oh, this happened to me. Everything from this moment forward, you've got to make the decision is your responsibility. Like it might not be your fault, but it is your responsibility. If you've never heard that phrase before, like what happened to you? Your parents, something might have happened to your parents and they might have been abusive, or they weren't as loving as you wanted them to be, or they weren't the type of parents that you want. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. You have been dealt the cards that you've been dealt. Don't wish that you would have gotten a different life, because you're never going to get a different life. You have to go, this is my life. This is what I've gotten, and I need to work with this. And so it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So for like example, in my own life, it's not my fault that my father was an alcoholic and my parents got divorced when I was 10 and my father passed away from liver failure when I was 15. That's not my fault, but it's my responsibility. It's what I need to do. Like I need to work with that thing. And so you have to learn to drop the victim mentality, drop the excuses, drop the blaming, stop saying it's other people's faults, whatever it might be. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I've said this story many times, but the most life-changing conversation in my life was when I had a call with my coach when I was 20 years old. And I was somebody who gave excuses and I showed up late and I didn't hit the assignments and I was just blaming everybody else and all of that. I was like a professional excuse maker. And he's like, hey man, I've got a question for you. If a business succeeds and gets all 1,000 employees to go towards one goal, whose fault is it? And I was like, 1,000 employees, probably the CEO's fault. Okay. And he goes, if a business fails and doesn't hit their goals and goes out of business, whose fault is that? I was like, it's probably the CEO's fault. He goes, okay. If you get to the end of your life and you have all of the joy and the happiness and the love and experiences that you wanted, whose fault would that be? And I was like, probably be my fault. And he goes, if you get to the end of your life and you're on your deathbed and you don't have the life that you wanted, you don't have the love and the joy and the happiness, the experiences and the achievements, whose fault would that be? I was like, that would be my fault. He goes, your problem, Rob, is that you're not living like you're the CEO of your life. You're blaming every single other person and all of the circumstances, and your life will not change until you decide that you're the CEO of your life. And if you get the life that you wanted to, it's your fault. But if you don't get the life that you wanted to, it's your fault. And so that's the first thing, is that you have to develop radical ownership of your life. The next thing is I really want you to work on is upgrading your internal self-talk. Your voice can either be your heckler, which is what it is for most people, or your hype coach. Like high performers don't wait for other people to believe in them. They speak to themselves like somebody that they believe in. They speak to themselves the way that they want other people to speak to them. And so what I want you to practice is by noticing your words that you're using and ask yourself, is that really the best phrase? Is that the best thing that I could have said in that moment? Right? So instead of saying like, oh, I'm stuck, maybe you say something like, I'm figuring it out. I'm going to get it figured out. Catch every like, I can't, I'm not good enough, and reframe it into like, I'm learning, I'm getting better. And use your self-talk, use your affirmations, not for like woo-woo-y magic, but to actually start to reprogram the identity you have for yourself. You know, I've told this story before, but you know, I noticed when I went to the gym, I had shoulder issues and I had hip issues and knee issues and all these different issues. And I kept being like, oh, I can't lift heavy enough. And I had this weak mentality. I wasn't even noticing it in myself. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And I was like, I don't know if I can get through this. This might be too heavy. And I noticed when I thought that way, my body responded differently. And it responded like I was weak and I held my body differently and I didn't stand up as straight. But then I started saying to myself, I'm strong and I'm healed. I'm strong and I'm healed. And when I noticed myself talking to myself that way, my body shifted the way that I was. Even just a few weeks ago, I was at the gym and my trainer was kicking my ass and I was like, I don't know. I was in my head, I was going, I don't know if I'm going to finish in time. I don't know if he gave me an exact time I need to be done by 2.5 minutes on the assault bike. And he's like, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it. And I was like, this mindset sucks. This way I'm speaking to myself is I need to change it. And so I closed my eyes and I was like, you're strong, you're going to make it. You're strong, you're going to make it. You're strong, you're going to make it. Instead of hitting 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I hit 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And so you need to learn to be your hype coach. You have to speak to yourself the way that you want other people to speak to you, the way that you want other people to believe in you. You have to speak into yourself before you actually see the results outside of you. So that's the next thing. Another thing is to start to build systems so that you don't have to rely on willpower. Willpower is for people who are amateurs. High performers build systems. And so if you want a morning routine, build a morning routine that primes your mind to show up the way that you want to show up for the day versus just reactively going into the day and fighting fires. So you wake up and you decide this is who I'm going to be, and maybe there's gratitude and maybe there's movement, maybe there's clarity. You don't need 15 things that you need to do in the morning to prime your mind and have a morning routine. It can literally be 10 minutes if you want to, right? Find time to plan your life and your week every single week, whether it's Sunday night or Monday morning. Set your targets, figure out what you're going to do. It drives me crazy that some people work at companies and they plan out the month and they plan out the week at the companies and they have no damn plan with their own life. Like, plan out your life like your life depends on it, because it does. And then start to create daily non-negotiables, not 15 non-negotiables, just like 2 to 3 needle moving things that you will get done today. Like, normal people have a to-do list that's like a mile long and they check off the easy things and they don't get anything really done. High performers have a to-do list that's 2 to 3 priority items and they just don't stop until it's done. It's the difference between being busy and being productive. You want to be productive. And so ask yourself every morning, like, what is one habit that I can do today to align with the person that I want to be? And then make it automatic. Do it no matter what. You don't need motivation. You just need to take action towards that thing. Another thing that you want to do to become a high performer is to embrace your edge. And what I mean by that is that high performers tend to live on the edge of their comfort zone. When you get to the edge of your comfort zone, you feel fear and you feel, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do any of this. I don't know if I can push further. That feeling of fear is the physical manifestation in your body of, hey, I've hit my comfort zone. And you know that if you want to grow yourself, you've got to push past your comfort zone. And so you've probably trained yourself your entire life that when you feel that fear, you back away. And that is keeping you in your comfort zone. So you've got to reprogram yourself to, when I feel fear, I'm not going to die. It's just the physical manifestation of my comfort zone. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I'm just going to lean in a little bit. Like, that feeling of fear, most people run from it, but not you. Like, you feel the fear, I'm on the edge of growth. This thing is hard. Okay, well, this is where the challenge makes me better. So don't back away. Lean in whenever you feel that. The next thing that I want you to really get good at is the idea of self-inquiry. Like, most people are completely unaware of themselves. They're completely unaware of their patterns. Most people think, like, listening to this podcast, and I thought this for the majority of my life, that I was like a free-thinking human. No, none of us are free-thinking. We think in a set of patterns that we developed in our younger years. Like, on average, you'll have 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day, and about 90 to 95% of them are the same thoughts that you had yesterday. You are thinking in a pattern. And so you need to start getting into self-inquiry. You need to start asking yourself more questions. You need to start thinking, like, become obsessed with becoming self-aware. Like, learn yourself. So people always say, like, oh, I know myself. Knowing yourself is based in the past. All of your past things. You want to learn yourself, which means that you are in the moment. That's based in the moment. Learning yourself is based in the moment. I'm going to learn who I am as a person. You're going to seek out every single dark spot in your subconscious. That is how you become a high performer. You need to have a daily practice of sitting down and journaling for 5 minutes. Where am I playing small in my life? Where am I playing small? Get that flashlight. I found those dark spots within your subconscious. Reflect back to yourself. What do I need to do to play bigger here? Like, you've got to start to focus on becoming better, becoming dangerous in everything you do. Not dangerous in like you can hurt people or like, people or anything like that. Dangerous in the fact that like if you say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And people can tell in your eyes, holy shit, this person's driven. Like I better not get in their way because they are definitely going to accomplish this thing. You know a driven person when you see a driven person. You can see it in their eyes. And so becoming a high performer is not about doing more at all. It's about doing less, but doing it better. It's about becoming more. And so you need to stop waiting for permission. You need to stop asking if you're good enough. You need to start showing up like somebody who's done tolerating with mediocrity. And so what you want to do is learn to lead yourself differently. I'm using my words very directly. Lead yourself. Nobody's coming to lead you. You need to lead yourself. Move like somebody who expects to win in their life, and then build habits that match the life that you want. And then don't do it one day. Don't do it tomorrow. Do it now. Like you have one life. Don't get to the end of it and then realize that you lived somebody else's versions and somebody else's expectations. Become the type of person who becomes a high performer and creates the life that they want. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. Based off of what you have been watching recently, YouTube thinks this video right here is exactly what you need. And if you want to make sure to never miss another video, go ahead and click that button right there and subscribe to this channel.